Hi, I'm Anthony Deluca. I'm a producer at 2K Games, and I'm the producer on The Darkness. The Darkness is basically a first-person shooter, and what kind of takes it above and beyond your normal everyday FPS game is the Darkness powers. Taking it from comic to game, we really wanted the player to feel as Jackie, feel as he's always being surrounded by the darkness and by the shadows. Once you go into darkness mode, you kind of get these two demon heads that come out on the sides, and you really feel powerful and empowered with these great abilities that Jackie's been blessed and cursed with at the same time. And we really wanted to convey that in gameplay. You're able to summon Darklings, which are Jackie's little alter egos, and control them. So you have basically your own little army of minions that do your bidding. They're vicious and funny all at the same time. You're able to summon black holes. You're also able to summon a demon arm, which is basically this large tentacle that you shoot out from the shadows. And you're able to impale enemies, pick up large objects all the way from like cars to shipping containers to hitting a helicopter with it. So we really want to empower the player. The other thing that what's interesting about the Darkness is, like it's called, Darkness. You have to go around and shoot at the lights. It's to your benefit to go into a room and you see where the enemies are, and to try and shoot at the lights, which is kind of a new gameplay that we really haven't seen yet. So, and which wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the current gen stuff. What we really want to do was encourage the player to use his powers kind of how he sees fit. So he'll come across like puzzles and progression stoppers that, okay, he really has to think about, how could I do this? Can I send the creeping dark, which is kind of like you sending one of these little demon heads out and remote controlling it, send it through air vents and try to open a door from the other side. Another option is to kind of like look inside a door and kind of see a Darkling portal and try to summon a Darkling to kind of open the door from you on the inside. So we really want the player to explore with their powers and really have their choice to do their own thing and progress through the game to see how they fit. So, one of the big things that we wanted to do was multiplayer. I mean, Starbreeze was very adamant about getting it in there too. So we have 1-to-8 multiplayers for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Now the catch is with multiplayer, you get to actually play as these little Darklings, which you get to control, which you see in the single player, but never actually get to control, like from the first-person point of view. So we have what we call shapeshifting. So you could kind of run around in the map, playing as a mobster. Your standard, shotgun, AK-47, pistols, etc., etc. But then you could shapeshift right into this little Darkling who's able to crawl on ceilings and walls. He's able to pounce 50 feet and decapitate his opponents and whatnot. So it really adds this cool element to the multiplayer that's totally different from the single player. It also adds to unique situations. So you're running away, you're low on health as a mobster. You run behind a corner, switch to a Darkling, jump on the ceiling, wait for your enemy to kind of cross the corner, and pounce on them and decapitate them right there for a one-hit kill. So it really adds for interesting gameplay. And again, it's totally user customizable. So if they want to play with this play Darklings only, humans only, it's totally up to them. Yeah, what we definitely want to achieve with multiplayer, with playing as the Darklings, obviously, is we want it to be frantic. We want it to be action-packed, frantic, and have guys running all the way around. Mobsters on the ground, Darklings running from building to building, and pouncing on you. So we really wanted to kind of just push it over the top action. This is not the kind of game that you're really going to be sneaking around corners in the multiplayer. You're going to be running around and trying to take someone's head off, literally. 3/5 of the game takes place in New York, which is where a lot of the comic takes place as well. And with Top Cow's blessing, we allowed Starbreeze to kind of put their own imprint on the game, which is kind of this darker, grittier feel for Jackie and this whole world. When you get to see New York in the alleys, you kind of feel this grungy, there's bums around, it's really dark and damp, and we wanted to bring the darkness into this whole Starbreeze's world, which is kind of dark. The other thing that we have in the game is TV sets, which is kind of cool. We have our own channel system, so you'll have the horror channel, the cartoon channel, the news channel, music channel, and you'll be able to watch feature-length films like Nosferatu and To Kill a Mockingbird. You also have feature-length cartoons like Popeye cartoons, full 30 minutes. And it's totally free to the player. If he wants to sit down and watch it, he can. But it also plays on gameplay. A good example is we have a news channel, and you actually see news flashes of things that are going on around the city that you could go to. One thing I can think of off the top of my head is there's a construction site level where you actually invade and you're trying to carry out a contract on the foreman. And you'll see a news flash, and you actually hear the helicopter outside as well, saying that there's ongoing developments at this construction site. And enemies will come in from behind you and they'll ambush you. But if you happen to catch the news flash, you could ambush them instead. So it really ties into the gameplay. It's really to the user advantage to kind of check the news channel every once in a while. Yeah, we definitely support downloadable content right now, like multiplayer maps, even single player areas, and Darkling. So it's really, you know, once we get the game out there, we're going to see what the fan base wants, and it's always a possibility. So we have numerous different Darklings in the game. We have about 15 different Darklings, from ones that are focused on killing the lights for you to ones that are ranged with a Gatling gun and things like that. But also one of the interesting things that we did was that the user could actually run around the environment and find different costumes for his Darklings. Another good example is the construction site where you could find a hard hat and a sledgehammer. And you find this costume, and the next time you summon a Berserker Darkling, he could actually come with this construction site hat and this sledgehammer. So it's really kind of a collecting game within the game itself for the players to kind of do side missions, find new areas with creeping dark and things like that. So one of the things that's really important to both 2K and Starbreeze was just the production value with the voice talent and the animations. Starbreeze developed this technique called vocap, which was the simultaneous capture of voice and motion, and it really comes through in the game. We went out and got a great cast of characters. We have Kirk Acevedo from HBO's Oz playing Jackie. We also have Lauren Ambrose, the redheaded girl from 6 Feet Under, as Jenny, Jackie's love interest in both the comic and the game. And one of the cooler ones, too, that everybody loves is we have Mike Patton. He used to be the lead singer of Faith No More, as the actual voice of the darkness. So you really have Mike Patton whispering to you in your ear throughout the whole game, which really adds to the idea that Jackie's having this inner battle with darkness and whatnot. So that was really important from the get-go, that we really drove home the story and made every NPC realistic. Everybody has their own face, their own voice, their own animations. And I think we did a great job of it. Yeah, I mean, Jackie's not your normal do-gooder. He's kind of the classic anti-hero, if you will. Like I know Mark designed him from the start, from the comic book, is Jackie's got these powers, and he's kind of he's a mafia hitman to start with, so he's not a really good person to begin with, but he does have this kind of moral compass, and he has this love interest and this good-hearted soul in Jenny that he kind of cares about. So in the back of his head, he knows what's right and wrong, but it's up to him to kind of, do the right thing every once in a while, even though sometimes he doesn't want to. Shipping on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 in June.